What is up, everyone? Good morning, and welcome back to the KickAsh Podcast here on One True Sport. We are live. It is Saturday morning at 10 ish, 4 ish a.m. Eastern Time. Welcome. I am, of course, your host, Ashley. Thank you guys for joining me here and already being in the chat. What's up, Maddie and E? I appreciate you guys. And like I said, y'all better be sharing them goods, man. You better be sharing them goods. But, today, make sure my mic isn't muted. Today, we will be talking about Saturday night's main event, obviously. That is we had the Go Home Smackdown last night, so that is on the agenda today. Probably not going to do too much AEW talk or anything like that. Just going to be solely focused on WWE here. If you guys listened to my show a couple days ago, I am still battling this cold, so I sound pretty nasty, so apologies in advance. But I will do my best, and if I have to mute or disappear for a moment or two, I shall return. But thank you guys as always for joining. I appreciate it. We aren't going to waste too much time for that matter itself, just because, like I said, I am going to try to sound as normal, which, I don't know if that's better or worse as possible though. But I was chuckling because the minute countdown that they have here, the tune, like the beats to it, it's completely like off. Like you would think it would get like beat, like the tone would get lower as it gets closer to a minute, like it does with the 30 seconds. So I was about to take another sip of my coffee, and the 2 seconds popped up. So I was like, oh shit, well, that tone is not matching the numbers, so it's just how my brain works. But good morning. What up, Sean? What up, man? Thank you for popping in. I appreciate you. You mean the you fucking know me so well already, man. You mean the show that was gonna be short but then ended up being 2 hours. That that is me in a nutshell, my friend. Cracks me up. That is me. You guys know me so well already. That's why I try not to even put any disclaimers. But yeah, you guys know me and how I ramble and shit. Almost said rumble. I ain't in the rumble. I have not declared. But yeah, dude. Yeah. And when I think it's gonna be a long show, it only ends up being an hour only. But yeah, you know me so well, man. But of course, like I was saying, we will be getting into SmackDown a little bit. It wasn't that big of a show, to be honest with you. I wasn't too blown away by SmackDown. So we'll be focusing on Saturday night's main event as well. But good morning, Dr. Ross. Good morning. Let me make some adjustments here so I don't hear myself. Cool. But guys, first of all, I can't believe it's already time for the second Saturday night's main event already. I feel like we just had, well, not the first, but the first one in a while. Just like last week, 2 weeks ago, which is kind of crazy. But we also, I don't know if you guys saw the news, but our guy Hulk Hogan, right? He will not be making an appearance at Saturday night's main event due to family commitments, which is just great timing, right? What a coincidence after my true guy Punk went on the air and destroyed his dusty ass, right? Fucking tremendous. Like probably like the comment of the year so far for me, even though we're not even a month into it, but just fucking tremendous, man. He's gonna dust it, like throw his dusty ass over the top rope and kill Hulkamania for good. Tremendous. But I am going to get the card pulled up here. I never realized there was so many Saturday night's main events. How many total has there? What number are we on? 38. Okay, makes sense. What up? Yes, Sak. And that, thank you, Sak. My ADD kicked in. Yeah, good morning, though, my friend. Good morning. But that is his. You crack me up, bro. Y'all are great. I love you guys. He said, Sai said, Hogan's son is getting married today. Apparently, he just found out. Yeah, bro. Like that was what I was intending on finishing with. How do you not know like what date your son is getting married on? Like you didn't know this prior to making any type of commitment with WWE? You're just like, oh yeah, brother, I'm good. Like, are you just so used to not having like, planned bookings that you just assumed you'd be free? Uh, just fucking tremendous. But yes, apparently he just found out. Fucking tremendous. Oh man. What up, Jesse? Good morning. Good morning. You say Charlotte doesn't deserve to win the 2025 Women's Rumble, so is Becky. So is Becky. It is going to be Io Sky. So Rossi gets named the 2025 class of WWE, the 2025 Hall of Fame class. Um, yeah. So we'll definitely talk about Charlotte here. We can kind of just, you guys know me, we kind of just go all over the place. That was actually kind of telling to me was the video package that they had for Charlotte. The first opening seconds of it, she's dressed up like she's all like dined out, right? Like all the glamour, all the jewels, all that stuff, just looking like $1,000,000, right? Like that was the theme, like money, she's classy, all this stuff. So it starts off like with you thinking like, okay, like she's gonna be heel Charlotte, right? Which my opinion, she's best suited for. Like I do think there was some room to play with. What was it last year when she had made her babyface, I guess, turn, and she was actually starting to gain a little bit of momentum. With Charlotte, it's just that she's just she has this perception of being one dimensional, and she's really not, in my opinion. Like she has had the blessing and the curse of being christened, as Ric Flair's daughter, right? Which of course is a blessing in a lot of ways, right? Opens a lot of doors and definitely makes some conversations easier, right? When you're first starting off. But she hit the ground running, man. Like if you guys remember too, like for instance, like not to, not to bring up certain sensitive subjects, but like Ric Flair had other sons, right? Reed sadly passed away, but excuse me, his other son did try to go in wrestling as well in WCW, and he just didn't hit, man. He just didn't have that personality. He just didn't have what Charlotte Flair has. So, yes, having the Flair name definitely opens doors, right? And it gets you to the table whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, right? Um, but she definitely hit the ground running. And she definitely put in the work, and she definitely elevated herself. Like the Flair name, especially nowadays, can only get you but so far, right? And it could have had a negative connotation, and it could have backfired on her. But she started from the beginning, man. Like I've always been one of those, not again, kind of in the Nia Jax boat. Like, yeah, I get the criticism and stuff, but Charlotte started through NXT. She worked her way up. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like she, excuse me, just started flat out on the main roster and hit the ground running, right? Like she went through NXT, like she did what she needed to do. Did she go in the indie scene and really hit the streets and hit the towns? Maybe not necessarily, but she still put in work. And I'll always remember that match, her and oh my god, why did I just blank on her name? It's oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, in NXT with Bret Hart. Natty. Jesus Christ, Natty. Natty. The match that her and Natty had in NXT with Ric Flair and Bret Hart in their corners. Tremendous match, man. And that showed you right then and there, like, the potential, as crazy as it sounds, that Charlotte had. So, with her now being reintroduced as what I thought at first was going to be a bad guy, right? But then towards like the ending and then like the middle towards the end of the, I guess, little video package, she was referencing that you can't really judge a book by its cover type thing, and it just kind of made me like leave that video package like, okay, like is she gonna be a good guy or is she gonna be a bad guy? Like it's positioned like she's like she's gonna be flaunting her money and her status and stuff like that around, so it's gonna be interesting to say the least. But to your point, I do not think, throw it back up there, Jesse, I do not think that she should be winning the Rumble. And I'm actually to continue my last thought from that video package. I'm actually surprised that they had packages for her. I love, trust me, I love me a good video package, but I'm surprised that they kind of let the cat out of the bag and announced that she's returning at the Rumble. Like, why not make it a surprise? That's part of the fun with the Rumble. We already assumed she was gonna return at the Rumble, right? Like her, Becky, and get some surprises, Jordan Grace, stuff like that. So there's a lot of obvious things, but why not keep it a surprise? Like, why not keep the speculation there? You've gone this long without it, so I don't know. Like to me, it was just an interesting choice, and that's why I was like, if you're gonna go for it and put a video package together, which again was very well done, though I liked it, but it just left me thinking like, which direction is she gonna be going in character wise? So I feel like if you're gonna at least make a package, make it obvious. And again, maybe it was just me. I'll get to your comments here in a second, but maybe it's just me that I was kind of conflicted. Like, okay, am I gonna be like cheering her or booing her? And to be fair, like I said, like I said, beginning, like she is a much better heel, right? Because I feel like you just have more freedom when you're a bad guy. But because it's much easier to get people to hate you than love you, that's for certain. But she I don't know. Like I just felt like she really had something there going with when she was trying to be a good guy. So we'll see. We'll see. But Jesse, yeah, a Rossi and Oscar confrontation would be surreal. Surreal. What up, Fernando? What up? What up, Fernando? I appreciate you filing in here. Good morning, guys. You say Charlotte is not winning the Rumble, just returning. I hope, man. What up, Willie Winehouse? What up? What up? You say if Charlotte wins the Rumble, Vince returns in 30 spot and wins the men's Rumble. Don't even put that in the universe, man. I'm removing that comment from the screen. Don't even put that in the universe. Can y'all fucking imagine if he was a number 30? Just any inclusion at all, but number 30, I I would turn my feet off and turn it back on. I'd be like, yo, this has got to be a glitch or some shit. Like this can't be it. Sean, you said you didn't love her woo at the end. She needs to go away from that. Yeah. And that was another thing too. That was a good point there, Sean. That was another thing too that made me question like how I'm supposed to feel about her. Because yes, the woo is normally like an embracing thing, but she did it just kind of like snarky. And again, like I don't know. That's why I like to me, I was just left with more questions from the video package than answers. But we'll see, man. Good morning, Maria. Good morning. Good morning. I appreciate you filing in. Good morning, guys. Jesse says Charlotte is trying to be WWE's version of Monet since Sasha Banks is AEW's Monet. Yeah, I could see that. I can see that, but Charlotte's always been extra though. Like if you think back to WrestleMania 19 with the helicopter entrance, like she's always been extra. So probably got a little bit of ideas from it or a little bit of inspiration, but it's nothing like completely new to Charlotte. Cause my girl's always been extra, right? Willie, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm good. I'm getting over my a little bit of sickness here. That's why I sound a little nasally and icky, but I'm good, man. How are you, Billy? How are you? Welcome. I don't know if I've seen you in our chat here. So welcome, man. Whether you've watched before and just never commented, I am that person. I am a wallflower on a lot of streams. Or if you popped in before and I just missed you, man. Thank you for coming back. I appreciate you. Yeah, Fernando, you agree that Charlotte is not going to win the Rumble, but will be chalk Tiffany at Mania. I'm not sure what you mean by chalk, but probably like just a challenger, maybe for piece of hair is probably me. A challenger for Tiffany. That's what I've been thinking for the longest time. It was gonna be Tiffany and Charlotte at Mania. And I think again, like say what you want about Charlotte, but she's good in the ring, man. I think a match between her and Tiffany would be just fantastic, especially at Mania. You want to talk about extra entrances? Just look at both of theirs. Like I'm sure like that would be at Mania nonetheless. I can just see Tiffany just dolling everything up, all pink everything, and then Charlotte coming out with just dripping in jewels, right? Like type shit. So I can definitely see talk about being extra. Definitely something like that. What up, Matthew? Winterborn? What up? What up? You said I love SmackDown. I watched 3 hours. First hour was okay. My bloody Wi-Fi cut off at 2 a.m. Turn it back on. Oh, damn, dude. That sucks. I hate that shit, man. When Wi-Fi just cuts out. It's first world problems, right? But it just makes you feel so helpless. Makes you feel so helpless. When you do the unplug and plug back in thing and it doesn't work, I'm just like, ah, shit, here we go. What do I need to do? Do I need to call somebody? I always know that's the first question. Is it plugged in? Did you unplug it and plug it back in? Did you restart it? I got those questions down at this point with my IT, my friends, right? Everything else, it's in your hands, my friends. Dr. Ross, you said I'm still confused as to whether Tiffy is now a face. Where does she go when the 6-woman tag is being set up? Yeah, I'm still confused about that as well. And again, like that's not, especially if Charlotte's going to be coming in and interacting with Tiffany. We need solid roles for both women. I mean, you need solid roles for everyone, in my opinion. People make a case for like that gray, like that tweener, but to me, it's much easier when you have a good guy and a bad guy. Because I like to keep it simple, you know what I mean? Like, let me know, like, who I'm supposed to be cheering for, who I'm supposed to be booing for, I bet, and go from there. I feel like she's gonna end up being a face, though, especially if the route Charlotte's gonna be taking, when she comes back is gonna be, a bad guy. I think that Tiffany in my opinion, Tiffany is, especially right now, is just better as a face. Just kinda ride out the hype still and the little momentum that's still, like, the excitement rather from her winning and being a good wrestler, like, that's what really got her love is the progression that she's made. That Elimination Chamber match will always be a standout for her. So I think she really just impressed and won a lot of people over rather. So my opinion, it'd be easier just to make her a face and go from there. But we'll see. But she's still being presented, I guess, in a lot of ways, or in some ways rather, as a heel. But they just need to hash that shit out. Like, it shouldn't be that much of a question, especially for, I don't want to say minor characters, but for characters that, like, it should be pretty cut and dry. You know what I mean? So we'll see. Dun, dun, dun. I'm just going through your comments here real quick, guys. I love reading your guys' comments. Y'all make this show so much easier for me. I appreciate y'all. The boss is in the chat. What up, the boss? Gotta straighten up our ties, guys. You say Blair Ripley for Mania. I would wait for Becky Ripley until SummerSlam. Yeah, man, like, I'm not even pressed to see Becky and Ripley, to be honest with you. Like, it'd be a good match for certain, but man, like, I'm not even that pressed to get back to that, Like, I don't know. Like, Becky's in a weird spot for me too, and this is coming from someone who spent money to do a meet and greet with her at WrestleMania. And, I want to say 19. Oh my god, it was in WrestleMania 19. See, this is my brain, guys. WrestleMania 35. Jesus. Um, I'm a big Becky Lynch fan. I think that they still dropped the ball with her in a lot of ways, and they could have continued her man run, right? And the popularity that she had, is she was the face of the company, guys. Like, say what you want, but 2019 going into especially 2019 going into 2020, man, like, she was the real deal. I still think they dropped the ball, and they should have done that singles match with her and Ronda at 19. We'll never know now, but I don't know in regards to Belair and Ripley. I don't think we're getting it this year, though. I just don't see any indication as to why Bianca and Ripley would need to face off this year, Like, I feel like maybe save that match for next year. Definitely want to do that match. It's definitely going to be a Mania match, but Belair still has the issue with Jade Cargill, and who attacked Jade, and she's a tag team champ with Naomi, so she's got a lot going on right now with her. And if she was freed up, maybe that'd be different. But right now, I don't see that happening this year. Maybe next year, though, depending on how the cards lay out, for sure. All right, Willie. Yeah, nice little group you got there. And Tatum Paxley, nice inclusion there of Paxley. But nice, man. Who's your favorite? Who's your fave? Uh, okay. I wonder what you guys think about this. Willie says Tiffany Stratton reminds me too much of Kelly Kelly. Talk about a name I hadn't thought of in years. Kelly Kelly. Talk about a girl who just really got, like, not a good set of cards dealt to her, man. Like, I don't know if you guys listened to Bruce Pritchard's podcast back before he even came back to WWE with Something to Wrestle with Conrad. I used to listen to that shit all the time. I have listened to it at least 2 years now, maybe longer. But especially when Bruce was a little bit more candid, obviously, going back to the company, you can only say but so much. But I don't even remember the show, but it was probably one of the ECW shows that they were focusing on. But when Kelly Kelly was making her debut into the company, I think she was like 19, 18, 19, 20, like super young. And with WWE's ECW version, they had, I forget what they're Vixens, ECW Vixens is what they were calling the women talent in ECW. And they would have, it was Kelly Kelly. Oh, I'm blanking on the other two girls' names. Layla, I think. She was the girl. She had curly hair. I believe she was from the UK. But she was like an actual dancer. I think she was on like a basketball team or some shit. Anyway, Kelly, like she, like her first day, like she was backstage, obviously, like they were preparing, and Vince was like, "All right, you're gonna be an exhibitionist. You're gonna go out there and dance." And Kelly was like, "I don't, I don't really know like how to like dance like that." Vince gets up on a plastic chair and demonstrates for her how she should dance. I shit you not. That is audio out there on the Something to Wrestle With podcast. He gets up there and shows Kelly how to dance on a plastic chair. I can't remember if he fell out of the chair or not. You'd think I'd remember that jewel, but every time I think of Kelly now, which again, like I said, isn't a lot, but when her name gets brought up, I think of that because how uncomfortable, man. Like especially all the shit we know now about Vince, but like imagine being stuck in a room with Vince and then Bruce Pitcher, but he may not be as much of a creep. He doesn't seem to be, I guess. And nothing came out about him, so his name is clear. But imagine just like the uncomfortableness of you being like an 18, 19, well, you guys won't know, but 18, 19, 20-year-old female just in a room with this 50, 60-year-old man at this point. Had to be in his 60s at that point, maybe 50s. And he's just trying to show you how to be sexy and like how to dance and how to be an exhibitionist. Like just fucking weird. But yeah, you saying Kelly unlocked that little jewel. So you guys are welcome. Dr. Ross. Who they got working on resolving the Jade Cargill case. Leslie Nielsen, or maybe Leslie Nielsen, Liam Nielsen. Yeah, man. This is a very good question. For all we know, Jade is still laid out on that car. They just moved it to the detail yard, but I don't know. And it's kind of like they've referenced it, obviously, but like it's like almost like she got injured and Naomi took her spot over, and now it's just like on to the next. So that's interesting, but I feel like they're doing that for a reason, though. But yeah, that was a good point there. Kelly, amazing extreme expose was the greatest thing for an ECW teenager. Yeah, I bet you a lot of you guys out there enjoyed that. y'all are something else, man. Yeah, Sean says Willie Tiff is a way better wrestler. No offense to Kelly, but Tiffany has way more potential. 100%, dude. And to be fair, Kelly was just given the short end of the stick. No weird pun intended, but yeah, just not good for her starting off. Yes, really. So happy to see Nikki Bella return to the Rumble in 25. Yeah, there's a lot of rumors that Nikki Bella will be making her return to WWE this year, which I think it's very interesting timing. Like we all know the history between her and Cena. Cena's on his last run. She just so happens to come back. Again, I'm just doing too much, right? Saying, being that person. But that was the first thing I thought. I was like, God, like I hope that's like not going to be awkward for them or like too like I don't say painful because I'm sure like they've healed since then, but like they had a long relationship, 9 years I think, and then he proposed to her. What WrestleMania was that? Was it 33, 34? Where they had that tag match and Cena proposed in the ring to her and all that shit. It's just and it's sad too. Not to get into her personal life, but it's just sad seeing what she's gone through within this past year with her. I think the dude's name was like Artem or something. So yeah, man. In all seriousness, I'm super happy for her too. Say what you want about the Bellas, man, but I think the Bellas were another kind of like Kelly, but a little bit different, where they were brought in with not really much seriousness or not really intended to be taken seriously, just like a twin act or whatever. But they really progressed, and they really, what's the word I'm looking for? They really just, I don't know why I can't think today, guys. So I do know why I can't think today, but she really put in the work, right? And put in the effort. Nikki Bella specifically, like if you were to compare the two, a lot of people said Nikki was better in ring, which, and maybe a little bit better on the mic and just a little bit more comfortable. But Brie really put in some work too. And the story that they had Nikki with Stephanie McMahon leading into that SummerSlam. I forget the year, but that was good shit, man. That was they really started to impress me then, and of course with the women's evolution in 2018, they really helped with the transition from the Divas era into the women's era, right? And no divas, no flaunting, no bra and panties bullshit, like they really helped turn that page. Excuse me, which is ironic because they're beautiful, right? And twins, there's a lot of promiscuity. I don't know if that's a word, I just made that up. But there's a lot of that shit that you can get from twins and beautiful twins and stuff like that. So they very easily could have played more into the sexy route, you know what I mean? And especially when they first came aboard. But they didn't, and they were a couple of the women who really helped the women's division in general. And to me, thinking back on Total Divas, I was one of those that was like, "What are we doing?" Like Total Divas, and then turned into Total Bellas, I think it was. I was like, "What are we doing? Like we're showing too much of the business." Like I'm like, ironically enough, like I'm kind of that person. Like I like to know a little bit of stuff, but I still think we know way too much as fans. I think we are way too familiar with with the wrestlers, period, and their personal lives specifically. It's just kind of not uncomfortable for me, but just like a barrier. I think that sometimes we cross, and just like who's breaking up with who and shit like that. It's just like too much. But with Nikki though, I'm very happy that she is making her way back. I hope this is a good outlet for her. I hope this is something to, like I said, just a good outlet. I'll just leave it at that. Just something that will be beneficial and positive in her life. Because if you think about it too, guys, the Bella family, not even just Nikki personally, but the Bella family has been through some crazy shit, right? If you think, I'm sure all you guys know, if not, but their mom is or was married to John Laurinaitis, and we all know the bullshit that has been unearthed from the NDAs and all the shit that John Laurinaitis is allegedly being accused of and all this shit. So that on top of him supposedly all this happening and him cheating and all this stuff and all those not even cheating is like the understatement of the year for all that bullshit that him and Vince allegedly did. But that was during a time where Nikki and Bree's mom was going through like brain cancer, some like very serious shit. Like it was like a very serious illness or like medical issue. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I don't want to like, say the wrong thing, but it was definitely like a very serious medical thing that she was going through. And this motherfucker is out there, keep it not so graphic, but having a good time, and thinking with the wrong head. So it's just like, bro, like, I don't know. Like, I just feel so bad for the family, and I'm just happy for Nikki. So yeah, man. Again, you really, man, you're bringing up these random names and unlocking these little thoughts that I haven't thought of in years, man. Yeah, Kelly Hall of Fame. Hella funny. Yes, Eve Torres, and Layla E. Yeah, thanks, man. Y'all are my brain. Y'all are my brain when that mind doesn't work. Jesse Hyde, you said there is still a lot of people that think The Rock will be at the 2025 Men's Rumble. I love that you guys keep putting the year for it too. It's like mandatory. The 2025 Men's Rumble. Like, y'all are great. I do the same shit too. It's just funny when I see other people doing it. But there's still a lot of people that think The Rock will be at the 2025 Men's Rumble and face Cody at WrestleMania 41 Vegas, despite the face quote turn. Yeah, bro, and that face bullshit on the Netflix debut was fucking trash, man. Just trash. Trash. Yo, Maddie, I think you were here and then you disappeared, man. I think you got into the goods, man. You got into the goods and faded out. But came back too. Welcome, man. Welcome. We are still here though. You're funny, bro. You say The Rock's not in the Rumble, and if he at Mania, it's for an appearance. The dude is still shooting live Moana and a few other movies, plus all the other projects he's got. Yeah, The Rock, and I'm not even gonna get on that soapbox, but The Rock, I'm not a big, I'm a fan of The Rock, right? Like, who isn't? But I just think he does more harm than good at this point. And I'm almost at the, or I'm not gonna say almost, I'm at the point where it's like, dude, either commit or don't commit. Like, don't wait till the last fucking minute. Like, yeah, you're The Rock, cool beans, but like, WWE is fine. You know what I mean? More than fine. The fact that we have to keep all these stories up in limbo and be like, oh, like, we'll be, well, like last year, like, oh yeah, Cody will win, but The Rock wants to come in and like all that bullshit, like, that really put a nasty taste in my mouth. And then him wanting to take credit for everything, like, bro, like, chill. Like, you did not make wrestling cool again. Like, you saw wrestling was hot again and jumped on the bandwagon. Again, I'm still salty with The Rock. Uh, from years ago when he first left. So that's a different topic for a different day when I could breathe a little bit better. But yeah, you guys will have to remind me on that, and I will give you my thoughts on The Rock as a whole. Yeah, you say it wasn't a face turn. The Rock was just behaving on Netflix debut. He was playing the corporate side to the final boss, but it was bullshit, dude. Like, yeah, I get what you're saying, E, and I'm not saying what you're saying is bullshit. I feel like that line of thinking is bullshit because why do you need to? Like, it was almost like and I get, like, I was one of the defenders, like the Raw, the debut on Raw, or I'm sorry, the debut on Netflix for Raw. The whole idea of the show was a celebration, right? Like, it wasn't one of those Raws that was going to be, very consequential or very important to progressing any storylines or anything like that. It was almost like the ending point for a lot of ways. So I didn't even go into it expecting a lot of progression with any stories or anything like that. I knew it was going to be kind of like those old like Legends nights and Homecoming nights and things like that. Like, it's just a celebration, which is fine. But the fact that he came out there and just had to be, oh, like the cool, quote unquote cool guy, like, oh yeah, like, like be buddy buddy with Cody. And the thing that killed it the most for me, if Rock wants to do that, fine. But having Cody laugh it up, sitting right there in the audience and just laughing it up, like damn near like smacking his knee because he's laughing. Like, bro, what the fuck you doing, man? Like, no, no, no. Like it hasn't even been a year yet, and you're laughing at this dude who just mentioned, like, told Mama Rhodes, just said, hey, the same dude who had Mama Rhodes written on the weight belt, who was beating your ass in front of your trailer, leaving you bloodied and all this, and now you're just laughing it off and like you're taking shots in the back. Like, I just it I am not here for it, man, and it's another reason why I'm just not really feeling The Rock, being involved in wrestling, man, to be honest with you. And I told you I wasn't gonna get on my soapbox with The Rock, so I'm gonna try to move on, but I don't know, man. He's just I feel like he's that person where, like, he sees something's like becoming popular and becoming cool again, and he wants to like hitch his wagon to it. Again, not that he has no right to, because he definitely has a lot of reasons why wrestling is what it is today. So, not taking nothing away from him, but it's like, I don't know, man. It's just very convenient is what I'm gonna end that with. Very convenient. Uh, uh, uh. Yeah, Maddie, yeah, bro. I've been sick, man. Fucking ridiculous, man. I took like a few days off, not even a full week, to go on vacation, and literally, so I took off like from last Friday to Wednesday of this week. Literally Friday morning, I woke up and I was like, oh no, my throat is sore, and it just went downhill from there. Yeah, in Florida, we've had some crazy weather that no one knows how to react to, so that hasn't helped either. But yeah, man, I'm trying to get through it. That's why I sound like shit. uh, uh, uh. Maria, you say the women's division was not taken seriously back when the Bellas were wrestling. The women's division didn't nearly have the talent it has now. Exactly, dude. Exactly. And I don't know why I just thought about this, but when you think of that time frame, one of the pillars. And again, say what you want about her, but Paige really helped the division, and helped transition over. But so did everyone's favorite AJ Lee. AJ Lee, the Bellas, Paige. A lot of them don't get the credit that they deserve now. Again, like because it all goes on like the four horsewomen, right? Maybe not as much nowadays since Sasha Mercedes isn't there, but they were in a weird era, right? And that's why I'd love to see like the Bellas come back and AJ Lee come back and Paige for that matter too. Like I don't know if Paige really even wants Soraya even wants to really wrestle as much anymore because she's just not in AEW and she signed an extension. So she seems to be cool just getting a paycheck and going on tour or not going on tour with Ronnie Radke. If they're together, if they're not together, I don't give a shit. That's not my business. But I think if she still wants to wrestle, I think like she would be. It's just funny too. Like like she's one of those cases that just like went to AEW and I feel like just wanted to take a check. You know what I mean? And that sucks because like I was a huge Paige fan. I was like, yo, like she could be the next big thing, for the division and just really. She was different. She was different when everyone looked the same and everyone had the same type of disposition, right? Like, oh, it's all about your looks. Paige is a very pretty girl, but she's not. It wasn't like she wasn't all the personal shit on off the table, right? Character and wrestler wise, like that wasn't really like what she was selling, right? In her calling card, right? Like it's not like she was out there flaunting herself. Like she was a good wrestler, and back she started when she was like 14 in the UK. So I just think it'd be really cool to have like another women's evolution and somehow get like all the good women's talent come back. Talk about like a forbidden door. Like it'd be cool to have like a forbidden door type with the women's division for evolution, right? Like another WWE women's evolution, but have a forbidden door aspect. So you have like women from TNA, and I know it'll never happen, but AEW, New Japan, like Stardom, like I think that'd be dope. So just put it out in the universe. You never know. Yeah, man. Remember, you're allowed to cuss here. Yeah. I still try not to be like over the board with it. But yeah, I'm so happy, so happy the handcuffs are off, right? I'm sure you couldn't, E. I'm sure you can never forget the extreme expose. You and a lot of other guys out there, I'm sure. Oh, man. All right, I'm gonna scroll through here. Really love The Rock as the final boss. Yeah, but be the final boss and don't be this weird hybrid dude that, oh, I gotta be cool and then reference that it's not, right? It's all an act, right? Wink. Like, no, you don't, dude. Like, shut the fuck up. No, you don't. Dr. Ross. Now, question of the day. Who would you rather see in the ring at WrestleMania? The Rock or Matthew McConaughey? Matthew McConaughey all fucking day, dude. Matthew McConaughey. Talk about a dude who has passion and loves the business and has been a diehard fan for years. That dude right there. So fuck the final boss. Bring in Matthew McConaughey. You could do like a four-way, right? You can do Pat McAfee, Bad Bunny, Matthew McConaughey, and pick your fourth poison. You could throw Corey Graves in there if you want. Man, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. Excuse me, guys. Fernando, you agree with me, man. 100%. I like that. I love The Rock, but it's really selfish that The Rock gets in the way of creative. Sorry about that. I don't want to hack in y'all's ear. But yeah, dude. Exactly. My point exactly. Um, just why? Why, dude? Like, again, I'm not asking you to be like a full-time wrestler or anything like that, but like, dude, like, I don't know. Like, either commit to what you're doing at Mania, at least by like October, November, or just don't. Just don't. My opinion. And I know if you have the chance to have The Rock on your show, you're gonna want to do it. I get it, but like, bro, like, he's not the end all be all. Like, I don't know, man. Like, we just put way too much like emphasis on him. Like, I don't know, man. So I agree 100%, bro. You say this is another theory for another day, but I really think that everything The Rock is doing is to gear for a career in politics. I agree, dude. I see that. There was like I don't know if it was like a poll or some type of, it had to be some type of like gauging of like the American people. Um it wasn't this year. Was it 2020? May have been for the 2020 election. Um there was like some like popularity type poll, and like who would you like vote for, like in those, they named like a couple of like celebrities, but like, like big deal people. And The Rock got, I think, like some crazy like 60% like approval rating or some crazy shit like that. Like definitely the majority. And I was just like, there we go. And 15 years from now, Cody Rhodes has said that he's thought about politics. I don't ever see him running for president or anything like that, but I could see Cody being like a little mayor, a little something, or possibly, trying to do something in Atlanta, governor, some type shit. It would not surprise me at all, especially, I'm not going to get into it, but with how America is going right now, and it's just a popularity contest, really. Yeah, dude, yeah, it's something over here, man. For all y'all in the UK, I would like, again, this is for a different show, maybe on my own channel, but I love to see what other countries think about us, and like for instance when TikTok went down, all the bullshit that they like, like the people in the UK and Canadians and all that bullshit were talking about us. They're like, oh, it's like they were saying like it's like the loud kids in the cafeteria went home or like stayed home from school, and they're like, oh, we can finally talk in kilometers now, like just bullshit like that. It's funny. I've always said like the US is like a fucking reality show for other countries. I feel like we're just a never-ending reality show, good or bad, good or bad. Maddie, brown sugar. All right, hold on. I gotta go back. You say brown sugar. Oh, hold on. Brown sugar and onion in a glass container. In the morning, drink the onion juice. The fuck are you trying to do to me, Maddie? Do you like me? Are you trying to kill me? Am I gonna like not wake up after this concoction? Onion juice? I fucking hate onions. So brown sugar and onion in a glass container. And then you follow up with saying also slice up onions and put them next to your bed. Maddie, am I gonna be like summoning some like being, some spirit or some shit? Like, are you what do you have me doing, man? What do you have me doing, Maddie? I'm watching you, man. Yeah, I'm gonna look for your explanation on this onion and brown sugar shit, because I gotta know now. I gotta know. Hey, and if this shit works, I will send you a super chat somehow. Like, I don't know, but like I like buy you a drink whenever I see you, bro. But like, I've never, I've never heard of that. It cracks me up. Brown sugar and onion in a glass container. Now, question. So, is it just that? Like, what do I put in it? Like, is it just water? Like, am I just drinking the onion juice? I fucking hate onions, bro. So I need answers. I need answers. Oh man. What up, Eddie? What up, bro? What up, Eddie? Maddie, what the fuck? Asked, did you see the clowns? I don't know if I can say that word. Talking shit about RVD? I have no idea what you're talking about, bro. No. Maddie, you're on that good shit, man. Like, what are you talking about, dude? No. And the clown? Like, I don't know if I can say that word, but like, what? I have no idea, dude. You gotta hit me with all this knowledge that you have, Maddie. Yeah, Dr. Ross, I remember Paige being pretty good as a SmackDown GM. Yeah, dude. I do too. And why she ended up leaving WWE is because they wouldn't clear her, right? But and rightfully so, in my opinion. Like, again, like we don't know the specifics, but better safe than sorry. But again, too, like you look at Edge, Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, and Paige Saraya, who have all come back now. So yeah, I think that I think there's I don't know. It's just weird, like how medical history like gets contorted, right? Like you'll never wrestle again, and then you go through all this, like you just gotta find the right doctor, and now you're good, like and thank God, like I'm not wishing no ill will, but it's like, yeah, no, Sean, I was literally just thinking that. Like I shouldn't even we shouldn't even title any of these shows. Like I should literally just make the title Chatting with Friends. And just like because like I I go like literally this happens all the time, like literally 40-45 minutes just talking to you guys and just talking about the like just interacting with your chats and your comments. And not even getting to the show. And that's how we end up being here for 2 hours. So thank you, Sean. Thank you for that. I'm gonna deviate back to the original plan here and go over the Saturday night's main event card here. But you guys are just so interactive in the chat and like very funny and entertaining. Y'all do better at this than I do. E say, "Oh, Rock for 2028. Do they have matches at the inauguration? And if someone has the money in the bank case, what happens?" Bro, fucking wild. Could you imagine the inauguration and like Austin Theory or some bullshit winner of the bank runs in? Can you imagine? I got 2 words: term limits. You're fucking great. Y'all are great. Alright. Yeah, Eddie, I did too. Saturday night's main event, yeah. We're all sitting here bullshitting about random shit, yeah. Alright, so Saturday night's main event. Now that we are almost an hour into the show. Oh, you guys. I love you guys. Thankfully, though, we have, 4 matches on the card? Is that right? Only 4 matches? Yeah. Yeah, that's right, because then we just have the, I don't want to say sit-down segment, but it's not even a contract signing. It's the face-to-face with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, which, by the way, too, that last night was kind of odd to me as well. Like, Cody started the show off. It pretty much like said what he needed to say about Kevin. He didn't get interrupted by Kevin, so I was like, okay. So what do we need to do tomorrow? Saturday night's main event. Like they'll come face to face, okay, but like, just heard from Cody there. It was just kind of odd. But we'll just kind of start off with that and this will probably be like placed middle in the card, I'd imagine, as like a good buffer. But or they could open it with the hometown kid being there, good old Shawn Michaels. Fucking love Shawn Michaels, man. Actually, I'm gonna throw this in the chat and see your guys' opinions, even though I said I was gonna be focused. But your thoughts, Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart? Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart? Who'd you rather? Guys, who is your guy between Shawn and Bret? Were you a Shawn guy or were you a Bret guy? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts if you dare, because that's one of those questions that really gets people going. Sometimes we're cool here though, but let me know what you guys think. I'll let you guys know my thoughts once I make a little bit more progress through the card here. But of course, Shawn Michaels will be hosting this. I guess no, it is a contract signing. So it's just so weird. Like why? Like we've gone all these weeks. They can't even be in the same room as each other, but yet now we're gonna do a contract signing, which I get, but it's just like, and to be fair, like they played it up too. Like what was it last week? It was like, I'm not gonna sign it until Kevin signs it, and then Kevin's like, I'm not gonna sign it until he signs it. So at least we have some reasoning and something that led us to a contract signing. So I get that, and that's I'm just being a little nitpicky. So I do like that. I like the legwork that they put in here, and it makes sense. It's just like when you think of everything that they've gone through at this point, it's just kind of like now we're doing a contract signing. But again, it makes sense because they haven't officially made it official to face each other, right? Like you can't. It's not official until you sign that contract, guys. And you have to read it too. You have to, even if you read it earlier in the day, if it's being presented to you now, you have to reread it because it could have changed. There's a lot of shit, just ask Chris Jericho. So, we needed an official. We needed someone who could go out there and handle a situation like that. And this is why we have Shawn Michaels, guys. It's not because we're in San Antonio. It's because Shawn is the guy. Shawn is the enforcer. Just look at him. How can he not be? Just kidding. But yeah, Shawn, it's a great move, in my opinion. It's a super easy move. Makes sense. And when you think of the Winged Eagle title, it's going to be very cool to see Shawn Michaels in the ring again with that title. I'm sure he's not going to because Kevin's holding it hostage, but just imagine, like, how cool would it be to see Shawn holding that Winged Eagle title again? Man, like, just the history, man. The history. But that's going to be fun. And I think that's why I'm like, maybe it could start the show because that's going to be a great reaction, right? But I think that it was a nice little touch, a nice little added touch, adding Shawn to that. But we'll see. I mean, we're almost at the point, like, what else can these two do to each other? So it's gonna be interesting to see if they go to blows or if it's just gonna be like a tense and like uncomfortable, quote unquote, like environment for them signing the contract or what. But we'll see. I don't really expect much from that, but I like that we have Shawn there. I like that we have Shawn for sure. I'm gonna get to y'all's comments in a second, but I want to make it through this card. That's my one task of the day, right? To make it through the card. Now the actual matches themselves. So, excuse me, we have, and again, yeah, it's just four matches. I think Universe is looking out. So we have Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax for our Women's World Championship. Of course, we all know now that Nia Jax has been moved over to Raw officially, which I think is a good move. Just need to freshen shit up, and I like that they are actually using this trade portal. We got some more advances last night. Damian Priest is now on SmackDown, which is much needed. Sucks because him and Rhea Ripley, speaking of Ripley, the Terror Twins, right? They're like best friends, and I think they used would travel a lot together. So they'll have each other as a traveling buddy. So that kind of sucks, but it was definitely needed for Priest more than anyone. I think that tissue. I think that Priest, he's kind of in a weird spot too because I definitely could have made a case for him staying on Raw, and having the Judgment Day be moved to SmackDown because I think you could really, especially since the Wyatt Six, or as some people refer to them, the Wyatt Sucks. They need, excuse me, sorry guys, they need factions, they need foils to go against, especially since the Final Testament, I believe, are still on Raw as well. And again, a lot of people have kind of soured on the Wyatt Six. They're just kind of over it. I'm kind of like just neutral on it. I'm kind of just in a spot where I'm like, okay, like they're there fine, they're not there fine. That's kind of a bummer too because if you think when they first came back and like murdering everyone backstage, right? That was a cool visual, man. That was, I mean, of course, like there was a lot of questions like, like how do you just wipe out everyone? Like where's everyone else in the locker room? But there's a lot of excuses that you can make too. Like, oh, well, it was towards the end of the show. A lot of the wrestlers probably already left to catch their flights or their travel, whatever. So you could make excuses for it, right? But ever since then, they just haven't really hit the same. And I respect the fact that they're trying to keep it going still for Bray and keep that vision going. They just need to, I don't know, it's just like a weird thing too, because it was always like an interesting predicament that Bray would find himself in. It's like, especially with Bray's individually, right? Like he would become so much of a character and so much of a big presence where it would almost make sense, or you would almost like be able to make a case for putting the title on him because he's the face, or not the face, but he's such a strong entity, right? And it would just the aura around him, right? And at one point you really thought like, okay, like he's gonna be the next Undertaker and like all this shit. So when you have a wrestler get to that point, it's like, okay, well, it makes sense to put the title on, right? Like that's what you do. But almost in the same vein as the Undertaker, like Undertaker never really needed to be the champion, like he was just in a weird light himself, but obviously he had more tenure and he was bigger, like just a more threatening force visually. So that's where I kind of see the Y6 running into in their issues with. So it would have made more sense to move the Judgment Day instead of Damian Priest, because I think he just really, he could have revisited Gunther, right? And I know we just did that, but maybe not Gunther specifically, but once the title's off of Gunther, then go back for the heavyweight championship, because I don't see him beating Cody, right? And I don't really want to see him interact with the championship on SmackDown and then lose again. So, and I know we're months away from that, but I don't know. I just love Priest, and I really love what they've done with him for the past year and a half. So I'm just hopeful for him on SmackDown. But Rhea Ripley made me think of Damian Priest and Nia Jax, for that matter, with the trade portal. But I for this match, to me, it's just one of those matches where they just had to get it on or they wanted to have a women's match on the card, and what better way and what easier way than just to have Nia just beat someone's ass backstage, right? She just, when Rhea was walking in, I loved it too. Rhea was just walking in, doing her thing, and all of a sudden, you just have Nia come from the side and just barrel into her into the cage, a nearby cage I was setting up there. Just brutal, man, brutal. This match is pretty much all of them, I think, are pretty cut and dry, almost like a no-brainer. There's one where it could go 50-50 on, but this one is not one of them. You're not going to have Rhea Ripley lose so soon, and especially to Nia Jax. No offense, Nia. You guys know me, you know my love for Nia. But this is, again, just a match to get the women on the card. And they did what they could, but I think it's just kind of like a feud, just transitioning and bridging Rhea Ripley from winning the title into her next real opponent. So, and just kind of buying time until after the Rumble. So that's kind of what I see it as. I think it's gonna be a good match though, but Rhea's taking this, no question. And I could really see this opening the card, to be honest with you. I think it'd be a hot start if just going through the, the openings of the show, pyro, all that good stuff, and then having Rhea's music hit. I think, and normally the faces, or not the faces, but the challengers come out first. But I think, man, especially with Rhea's music, just start with her, man. Just start with her. So yeah, officially my pick is Rhea. Probably no surprise there. I would be more so surprised if Nia won, to be honest with you. I think a lot of us would. But I just don't see that happening. Next, we have Braun Strowman facing off against Jacob Fatu in a singles match. The only match on the card, that is not for a championship. Granted, there's only 4, but still. I like this. A lot of people have mixed feelings on Braun Strowman. I think he's one of those two that has really grown a lot and really advanced a lot since his return to the company, right? It's almost comical to think that he was fired and what he was doing on the indies, right? The whole control your narrative bullshit. With I almost called him Ethan Page, with EC3. Man. And to see how he just really used that as a humbling experience, really, and got into much better shape. He's even referenced it and apologized on social media and stuff, because he had made a comment years ago, when a lot of mass firings went on, and I forget what wrestler, but someone had made a comment that Braun was he was pretty much just disparaging and making fun of indie wrestlers and shit, and a couple years later he found himself in that same predicament. But it's just funny how the tables turned. But to give him credit, man, he owned up to it. He apologized. He ate that big old plate of humble salad, you know what I mean? And kept it moving. And now he's back. Him and Nia Jax, in my opinion, there was no question of them ever returning. It was more surprising that they were fired originally. My ear. Sorry, guys. But with Strowman, though, I just really think that since his return, like I was saying, it's a new side of him, and almost he's re-energized, So, and shit, Jacob Fatu, that's pretty much almost the only thing you need to say is Jacob Fatu, and there's everything you need to know. This man, and I loved the feeling from last night. I loved how, first I will say I was very surprised that Tama lost against LA Knight. Very surprised. I'm not really a fan of that. But I liked that Jacob was immediately right there and just beating down LA Knight, and then that brought out Braun Strowman. And I love that Tama was trying to hold Jacob Fatu back from interacting with Strowman. And Fatu pushed it off. He's like, nah, I'm we're doing this. And I just love the visual. I love the visual that Jacob doesn't give a shit. He is that Wolverine, right? That's what they're calling him. Um, yeah, man, he's just a badass, and I'm here for him. I don't even necessarily want to see them have like a bloodline like 3.0 or anything like that, but you can almost like a completely new version of the group, new name, new everything. Him, Tama, and Tonga. If Tonga makes his way back, which he will. Um, but yeah, I just look. We all know it's. I'm not speaking any new shit right here. Jacob is the future man, and he just something about that dude, something about him. But that's why this one is the one that was like it makes me a little 50-50 on because I there's just always something about Strowman where they're funny about having him lose, which I get because he's a big guy and all that stuff. Um, but I have a feeling you don't want to have Jacob lose here. Like I think it would do way more harm to Jacob than it would to Strowman. And just think of the visual of having Fatu just beat Braun Strowman, just the size, visual, and the aesthetics of it. I think that'd be very, very beneficial for Jacob and a good bragging point that he can kind of hang his hat on for now. And kind of like another notch that he can put under his belt. So I'm going with Fatu here. I'm going with Fatu. I'm wondering if we see any type of like a return from Solo or any type of interference from Solo. Not saying that he would cost Jacob or anything like that, or just any type of sighting from Jacob or from Solo or any type of progression with that version of the story, or if he's just going to be focused on the match and they kind of keep it moving. But yeah, my official pick is Jacob by 2, but I'm nervous that they're going to have Strowman go over, so we'll see. Next, we have Braun Breaker, your intercontinental, almost say international, oh god, intercontinental champion, facing off against Sheamus. The story here has been the same. Sheamus is looking for the IC title. He's not going to win it here. Sad to say. I know at this point I'm like, is he ever going to win the IC title? Because how many times are you going to challenge for it and then lose? You know what I mean? Before we all get to a point where it's like, okay, like you've had your shots, man. Like literally, you've had your opportunities, whatever you want to call them. You're just not gonna. You just I don't know, man. Like, do you still have it anymore? And that could be a cool story too. Like have Sheamus lose here and start the kind of like a similar story, but not really, to John Cena, like questioning, like, oh, like, do I still have it? Like, I've done X, Y, and Z in my career, but what have I done lately? Type thing. So I think that could be a fun dynamic for Sheamus too. We've never seen Sheamus really be vulnerable or questioning himself or anything like that. Kind of like the Sami Zayn route, when he was constantly being viewed as the underdog and he was getting fed up. Not that we're going to view Sheamus as the underdog, but just have Sheamus really take to heart, like, okay, like he's losing, and like just really start questioning himself. So I think that could be fun and add a little bit of depth and I don't know, like personality, but just more depth to Sheamus's character that we haven't, in my opinion, haven't really seen. He's just been straightforward, like a beat your ass type dude, love fights and drink some beer. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, like I see Braun Breaker winning here. Again, nothing too surprising, I imagine. But I really like what they're doing with Breaker too. I think that he's not cooled off, but there's just been so many big things happening. He's not as loud um on the show as he once was, and not as prominent, and not getting as much hype, I think. But he's kind of, I don't want to say on the back burner, but he's kind of just like, sizzling a bit. He's just kind of back there chilling, like he's not cold, but he's not like blazing hot or anything like that. He's just kind of there, still cooking, and when you need him, you put him on that front burner, man, and you're good to go. So that's where I'm at with Breaker, and it almost actually makes me wonder if we're ever going to get a Breaker and Goldberg match, which leads into my main event here. Gunther versus Jey Uso. I almost don't even want to put this into the universe, but as you all have known and seen past few weeks or so, maybe probably more than past 2 weeks, our guy Goldberg, right? Goldberg wants to have his retirement match. He was promised his retirement match, guys. Like how can you promise him something and not deliver? Shame on Vince and shame on WWE. Gosh. Um, just fucking childish, like, I was promised a retirement match. Fuck off, dude. Like, really? Yeah, like, you did it. I'm never gonna downplay his contributions and a big deal that he was to the business at certain points. But, like, bro, like, he ain't all that, man. Like, no one's out here, like, signing and holding petitions for Goldberg's last match, and Goldberg was done wrong, So just, like, relax. Like, just, oh, I never got my retirement. Like, how old are we, dude? Like, how fucking old are we? Like, I don't know. To me, he got much more. I'm not gonna say much more than he deserved, but much more than he needed with some of his title wins and some of his victories in WWE on his latest return. 2003, fine. Latest return, you should enjoy the fruits of your labor and not continue to go back to that tree because maybe the fruit won't be as ripe. That's all I'm saying, man. All I'm saying. But it makes me nervous. Obviously, the correlation, the similarities with Braun Breaker. I don't think Goldberg, if he is bitching about not having a retirement match, I don't think he is going to come back. And no disrespect to Breaker, but face a Braun Breaker, right? Like if he's bitching about his retirement match, he's most likely gonna want to have it be as big of a deal as possible, right? Lead into Gunther and Jey Uso. That is my concern. Again, with this match too, really quick, I love, I'm not gonna say I love, but I've really enjoyed the back and forth of the mics that Gunther and Jey Uso have had together, especially Jay. Like, and that's why it's almost sad for me because, especially this past week, I really like the importance and the tone that he had. And at what point, like when the fans were doing yeet, he kind of like held his hands up so the moment could be kind of felt a little bit more seriously. You know what I mean? And I he almost did too good of a job. He almost did too good of a job making his case and declaring he was gonna win, and he got me, man. Like, and I think if we were in a different time frame, in a different era in WWE, I really think Jay would win. I could really see Jay winning the heavyweight championship. And that's like, again, another reason why I like the brand split and I like having two champions, probably the minority there. But I really dig it. And I really think it's beneficial to your company, especially when you're a behemoth that WWE is. You need two different brands. Granted, you can say what you want about them blurring the lines and trade portals and all that shit, wild cards, right? But I really think that it's more beneficial than anything for situations like this too, because it really lets someone like Jey Uso really make a case for themselves and really fall into that spotlight, and show what he could do and just really, and he did, man. He won me over. I could not even it being a fluke victory, but I could really see Jay just getting the better hand and the upper hand on Gunther, kind of like a Cody Rhodes and Gunther match situation type, right? But I don't think that's happening right now, and I don't see them pulling the trigger on a Jey Uso championship reign and run, especially it's starting right before Mania. I just don't see it happening, especially against Gunther. But maybe after Mania, right? You could have Jay going into SummerSlam or something like that. It just depends on the layout, who's the champion at that point. But I think Gunther is going to retain here. My fear is once Gunther retains, he's holding up the championship. All is well. We're about to sign off, and then we hear those tones. We hear those notes from that music. Goldberg comes out, and he makes his way to the ring, looks at Gunther, or even just stands on the stage and says the only thing he really says, "You're next." I just got a kink in my neck thinking that. But that's my fear. Yeah, just leaving it at that. That's my fear. I hope I am being dramatic and putting too much stock into all this. But I definitely don't want him returning at the Rumble. Fuck that. Having Goldberg be a surprise in the Rumble, it could be cool, like visually, but we don't need it, you know. And I just really don't see Goldberg being that type. Like I see him. I don't even really see him having a match until if and when that does happen, a championship match at Mania. Again, like I don't even want to say this, but when else would they do the retirement match for him? And again, maybe they're gonna push that off into SummerSlam or a bigger PLE because you already have John Cena going on his tour. There's a lot going on right now, so I don't think Goldberg is necessarily a big focal point for them, but they promised it to him and they confirmed that he will be getting it. So a different era or a different regime promised it to him rather, but they said they will be giving it to him. So at least per him, his words. So that's what concerns me. But that is the card for Saturday night's main event. I am going to scroll back and go through your comments here before we wrap it up for the day. But thank you guys for hanging in there with me and sticking through the sickness and the ickiness. I appreciate you guys, man, so much. And hopefully this time next week I will sound like my normal self, whether that's better or worse, but I won't be as nasally. Let's see. Y'all are funny, bro. It's sesh time, yeah, Maddie. It's always sesh time. Onions and garlic. Oh yeah, also slice up onions. Yeah, Maddie, I gotta follow up on this onions and brown sugar shit. See if you better have dropped some follow up on all that. I'm playing catch up. Yeah, Eddie, you said you wouldn't bring back Paige because of her injury history. That's why they want to clear her to begin with. Okay, cool. I went back too far. Yeah, Jesse, that's a good point. Great Kairi Sane is feeling better with her injury, but do you think we see Asuka return in the 2025 Women's Rumble? I do, man. I do. That's a good call out. I do think we see Asuka. We haven't seen Asuka in a minute, man. So I think she would be a fun surprise. So I hope we do. I hope we do. Say listen to RVD latest episode if you got time. RVD stuff about a shady promoter and his son fucking over a lot of wrestlers. I saw RVD send a tweet out about that. Yeah, I'll have to check out the episode though for sure. I saw him he sent out a tweet or something like, yeah, I don't know exactly, but yeah, I'll definitely check that out. Yeah, shady promoter. Yeah, man. For sure. Dang, Willie, it's at 2 a.m. for you. Nice. You're dedicated, man. You are dedicated. All right, so Fernando, you're a Bret Hart guy. All right, cool. And E, you say you're a Sean guy. All right, 50-50 so far. 50-50. Eddie, you say Bret Hart in the 90s. Maria, HBK, still a 50-50. Sean, neutral. Come on, Sean, gotta pick one. You say you liked Sean. Huh. What a coincidence. You liked Sean more, but they were both great in the ring. Okay, so you liked Sean more. Okay, I've read your full comment there. Eddie, you said HBK after he grew the fuck up. Facts, bro. I don't know, man. You got me there, but I love me some fuck around and find out Shawn Michaels, though. I love me some of that Shawn. Yeah, you say they don't give Jay serious title runs like in his IC run. Yeah, man, I'm still salty about that one. I still think they should not have taken the title off of him, or just shouldn't have pulled the trigger to begin with. Dr. Ross, both are great, but if forced to choose, I would pick Shawn. Me too, man. Me too. So, spoiler, Shawn has always been my guy. Bret, I think probably I respected Bret a tad bit more. I don't want to say more because that sounds really rude. But I respected Bret for always being like we're not gonna get into it, but for trying to always be the professional, right? And like E was saying, HBK after he grew the fuck up, I can only imagine how much of a shit show it was dealing or trying to deal with Shawn Michaels back in the day. Just from the stuff that we've heard, imagine the shit that we did not hear, right? So I can only imagine. So I always gave Brett a little bit of a higher hand and like a more pat on the back type thing because of the bullshit that he most likely and a lot of wrestlers went through with Shawn, but all around wrestler, performer, Shawn was just that guy, dude. Like Shawn, there's just so many more matches that I go back and watch, as sacrilegious as it sounds, with Shawn Michaels than Brett. And it's almost not even fair comparing the two, even though I presented that to you guys, but and it's weird because Shawn was great in the ring as well, but Brett was just more technical, right? So if you're looking to enjoy more of an actual wrestling and technical match and more precision, definitely Bret Hart all day, every day. But if you're looking for more of an entertaining show and like an entertaining match and just something with more emotion, in my opinion, that's where Shawn just kicked ass at. And there's just so many moments with him, and I just as a like all around wrestler, Shawn was just always my guy, man, always my guy. Now the boss comes in with a hot question. Does KO hit HBK with a pile driver? I would fucking love to see it. And he can take bumps, right? Like he had that bullshit match, he being HBK. That bullshit tag match was him and Triple H versus, was it Undertaker and Kane? In Australia or Saudi? Had to be Saudi. 2018? Something like that. Maybe it was Australia. I don't remember what show it was, but he came back for that one-off bullshit. So he could still get physical. Does HBK hit or does KO hit HBK with the pile driver? That would be incredible. And I didn't even think about that. I hope so. I hope so now, especially being in San Antonio. Imagine the heat and the just hatred that KO would get. If they don't, boss, they should watch this stream and steal your idea because that's a good one there. That is a good one. And yeah, Fernando, there's always a fight at these live contract signings. Yeah. So that could very, very well be it. Yeah, Fernando, the Y6 did have a lot of hype, but then they did fizzle out quick, and it's sad. It's sad. Dr. Ross, the Y6 would have a better chance of staying over if they had Alexa Bliss as part of the faction. Maybe, but I don't even know about that. They probably would have gotten more TV time, especially with the history and obviously that Alexa Bliss has with Wyatt and all that. They definitely would have gotten more TV time. But longevity, I still don't know. Like, because there's still only so much you can do. Yeah, dude. I'm pumped for that one too. Fatu is such a badass shot, and just two big men just like beat the shit out of each other. I'm here for it. Fucking here for it. Yes, and Dr. Ross, yes. I meant to say that earlier when I was shit talking about Hogan. Dr. Ross says, looking forward to hearing Jesse Ventura tonight. He was better than I expected him to be last time out. I love a good heel co-commentator. Yeah, man. And I would love her to be out there for the whole show. I don't know if he would be able to, if not, but I would love to see it. I think he really adds a nostalgic feeling, but he's not like one of those old-timey guys that just kind of bullshitting and not completely unfamiliar with the product. He knows just enough to be dangerous, right? So that's why I wish Hogan was going to be there, but conveniently he won't be. He just remembered, he just found out, as Sai said, his son is getting married. Something minor. His son's getting married, you know. Funny how those things just pop up out of nowhere, right? Ugh. Dr. Ross, wouldn't be shocked if Fatu makes it the Final Four of the Rumble. Talk about building a star, bro. That would be a way. Jesse is better than McAfee. Jesse. Who did I... Jesse who? Oh my god, I'm blanking. Who are you talking about? Jesse is better than McAfee? Forget what I was talking about at that point. Ooh, Fernando coming in hot. Braun Breaker is losing the IC Championship and he's facing and winning the World Championship from Gunther at Mania. Okay, bro. I don't see that happening, but okay, we'll see. If so, I will definitely give all props to you, man. I don't see that happening right now. I think I don't know. It's just everything is just so up in the air, dude. But I don't know. It depends on really what fucking Rock is doing, and then everything else can fall into play. Which again is so annoying. Yeah, exactly, bro. Why did Sheamus lose to Braun twice already? Then that wouldn't make any sense. So are you saying that Sheamus needs to beat Braun? Yeah, I don't feel like they've hyped it up enough this at this point though. Like I don't feel like they've really put enough like thought into, or not thought, but enough speculation as to whether Sheamus is gonna win or not. So I don't know, man. Yeah, man. I will definitely tell you how I feel. Definitely tell you how I feel. That's I kind of worry about that. I just try not to be too disrespectful. But yeah, man, I'll tell you for sure. This is it right here, Dr. Ross. Goldberg versus Gilbert. Fuck everyone else, man. Gilbert. Bring back Gilbert. It's so funny. Remember how like salty and how personally Goldberg took that whole Gilbert shit? Like, come on, dude. Relax, bro. Fucking relax. Like he really took that shit personally. Like loosen up, dude. Like, ugh. You take yourself way too seriously, bro. Huh. Yeah, surely there's a Saudi show that Goldberg can have his last match on. Yeah, man, go get your millions out there. Go out there and get your millions. Have fun with that. There's gotta be one coming up soon. Um, bu-bu-bum. Yeah, man. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yes, Kane, Undertaker, and Saudi versus DX. Yeah, fucking trash. Fucking trash. Sean, you say Braun needs to win. I think Braun Breaker. Yeah. That you're referring to. Yeah, with that spelling. Yeah. Braun does need to win. But again, that's what I was saying. Like, what do you like? Why do you keep going back to the well with Sheamus? So again, maybe if they don't want to make everything too predictable, maybe they could pull the trigger and have Sheamus win. I just think it would do more harm than good for Braun because he's already had that happen with Jay. And you don't want this to happen with Sheamus again. So I think keep the title on Braun Breaker. Do what you're going to do with Braun and keep him strong. But my friends, we made it. I didn't go quite as long as I have been, right? Normally I go like an hour and a half, hour 45, fucking 2 hours. But we made it just shy of an hour and a half, right? About an hour 23, 24 minutes. Thank you so much. That's all I can say. Thank you so much. Oh, he thinks. Okay, thank you, Sean. He thinks Jesse Ventura is better than. I was wondering if that was the Jesse you guys were referring to. Jesse is better than McAfee. That's not even a question, bro. Not even a question. And I love me some Pat McAfee. Um, but yeah, can you imagine if we got that match? Crazy, crazy, crazy. Oh, yes, great show. Well, good show, everyone. As per Dr. Ross, very good show. Thank you guys for the comments. And Sean says he's proud of me. That's all I need. Now I'm good. Sean is proud of me. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Thank you guys. That's what I was getting back to saying. You guys have been real troopers here, hanging out with me, listening to my nastiness. I appreciate it very, very much. So this show would be much more difficult to get through without you guys. Maybe it would be a little bit shorter because I wouldn't be commenting and chatting with you guys. But that's not what I like. If I'm going to sit here and do a show, I want to be interactive. I want to be talking to you guys. That's what I was saying. I might as well not have a fucking title in any of these shows. Just morning chat, morning chat with Ash type shit. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, no, seriously, dudes. Thank you guys so much, everyone. I'm not going to mention everyone's names because I know I'm going to forget someone, but and our little community is growing here, so I appreciate that. If you guys don't know, which you should know because my great friend Sai gave this beautiful layout and template and overlay to the show KickAsh Podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at ASHMANNS. You can follow the show more importantly on Twitter at KickAsh Podcast _. You can subscribe to it here on YouTube. I do shows when I can over there as well. I try to at least get out a couple during the week, at least one live and maybe another video. Once things get a little bit easier for me, I definitely will be making that schedule. Some of you guys had mentioned in the live stream that I did 2 days ago, I believe it was, that you would be interested in doing a live watch along for the Rumble over on the KickAsh Podcast. I will be thinking about that. I do technically have to work, but I'm going to see if I can maybe make some arrangements, and I will look into that. If you guys would be down for that, let me know. I probably should have said this a little bit earlier in the show, not as we are wrapping up here. But I think the way watch-alongs work here on Twitter, on YouTube, is you can stream the audio. Obviously, you can't stream the video itself, right? I'm not an idiot, but I believe you can stream the audio for it. So we'll see. Let me know how you guys would feel about that. I obviously have never done anything like that. I'm trying to figure out my schedule and see if I can make an arrangement for that. But yeah, let me know what you guys would think. Let me know what you guys would think for sure. Sai, you're still here, man. I will. I appreciate that. I will definitely do my best to get better. Dr. Ross, you're cool, man. Ash goes the Iron Woman of 1TS. One True Sport. I appreciate that, man. And again, if you guys aren't subscribed here, I don't know what you're doing. You definitely, most likely already are. If not, it goes without saying, subscribe, like the little video here, or you can dislike. If you think it was shit, dislike it and let me know. But I at least want to know why. That's my only ask. If you're gonna dislike, just let me know why. If it's just like a take of mine or whatever, that's cool. Let me know. I'd be down to interact and chat with you guys and discuss our whatever. Excuse me, our differences, right? But our disgruntledness, and we can hash it out. There was, I'm not going to mention his name here, but there was one negative comment that we got. I think it had not last week, but the week before. Haven't seen them since, but looking for. I love it, guys. I'm that person. I have time. You know what I mean? Like I don't feed into a lot of negativity, but I do have time for it. So let me know. But no, in all seriousness, again, I would say there's like 99.99% of positivity out there for this little community that we built here, between One True Sport, Brass String Media, and trickling over to KickAsh Podcast. So that's what, man. I appreciate you guys. I'm not going to sit here and fluff too much longer and blow smoke too much longer. But yeah, so you can't show video but able to have audio. Cool. So definitely just isn't a plug. But if you guys would be down for a watch along, I'll try to make an announcement or make like an official, like I'm going to be doing a watch along or not, probably by like the mid of next week, like maybe Wednesday, Thursday, obviously with it being Saturday, would need to know. But I'm going to try to let you guys know as soon as possible over on Twitter, because that just seems to be the easiest thing. Or maybe I'll make like a post on my channel, KickAsh Podcast or whatever, or I'll do like a poll or whatever. So just be on the lookout for that. If we don't do a watch along for the Rumble, maybe I'll do some planning and we can pick because the Rumble would be fun to do a watch along on, but maybe we'll do, probably not Mania because I can't be here all night. But we'll pick a PLE or something and all come together and sit down and shoot the shit, while we're watching some wrestling. So we'll see. I hear you, Sean. Yeah, man. No pressure. Again, I'm still trying to figure out some logistics myself. So that all being said, again, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. If you are new here, I appreciate you popping in and sticking around with me. But until next week, guys, we will definitely be doing a live show next week. Again, subscribe to my channel over at KickAsh Podcast. I'll be doing something maybe this weekend. I don't know. Just depends if I can make it through. I may take tomorrow off and just completely just try to get all this nastiness out, right? Just start fresh next week. So we'll see. Zero, I can't say your name, but Zeros not. Sorry I butchered your name, but hey, thanks for calling in. We are on our way out now, but thank you so much for popping in. If you didn't catch the show, feel free to watch it on replay, wherever you'd like. But yeah, until next time, again, I appreciate you all. Thank you. Day. Enjoy Saturday's main event tonight. We'll definitely be talking about it next week and at some point over on my channel. But until then, like, subscribe here, all that good stuff. You guys already know what to do. And be safe. Just be safe out there, guys. The world is a crazy place, but just stay safe, man. Love you guys, and until next time, enjoy some wrestling.